Hi guys, how is everybody today? I know life is getting pretty crazy lately. I know that the world is getting crazy. We hear people demonstrating because they say climate change and they have 10 years, but the Bible doesn't talk about that. The Bible says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of truth and of sound mind. And we need to focus on that. A sound mind. God doesn't want us to be that way. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so sometimes we need to laugh at people because a lot of it's politics. It's not facts. It's how they can get money to do what they want to do. And so how they can take it from you and me. And so that's what Social Security was. That was a way to take care of the elderly, and it was never to be touched. And then all my life, they've taken it out of my check. And then when I get to be my age, they want to tell me that it's an entitlement, even though I paid into it for all these years. So then they decided when the Clinton tapped into it, when Clinton was in office, they entitled them to use the Social Security fund for whatever they wanted to. And that's when Social Security started going down the drain. If they'd have left the money we put into it, it wouldn't have. And if they wouldn't have let people take out of it that never put into it, would have been okay too. So it's a catch-22, and it's how they can grab the money. And I don't care what politicians in a Republican, Democrat, trust me, it's all about the money. What they can do with the money, how they can use the money, and that's their goal. So, my talk to you today is don't let the world discourage you. I don't care how strong of a Christian you are. The way the world's going, it can be very discouraging. You look at this stuff and you think, what's going on? But the Bible says, as it gets closer to the time of the end, when Christ will be here, it says that it will be in the days of Noah. And what does that mean, in the days of Noah? It says they will be eating and drinking and giving in marriage and partying and not caring about people. And I think we're kind of there, but there's more than that. There's more about the days of Noah. But one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is start laughing at yourself. Start thinking about the crazy things. I know we all have stories. Like, when our kids were little, we think about the things they did. My daughter cartwheeling down the middle of the store, and my son deciding that I was shopping too long and he was going to go sit in the car at 5 years old. And at that time, I could have strangled them. But when I found them, in my mind, I started laughing because, yeah, he was tired of waiting for us to shop. It was a brand new Big Lots. We never seen one before. Or our grandkids coming and asking us things that, trust me, it wouldn't be our job to answer. I remember one time, Caleb, we went into an Applebee's, and he decided it was Caleb or Calvin, and they decided that they were going to go, they had to go to the bathroom. Well, he wasn't going to wait, and he decided he was going to dress before he got there. So running down the aisle in the middle of Applebee's, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's this child doing? So we got to learn to laugh, and we got to look at the simple things, look at the beauty in simple things. When God made this earth, he made it beautiful. He made it that we can go outside and gaze up into the stars and see the beauty in that. Go out and see a flower blooming. Go out and look at the trees, an animal playing. I love the cat and dog videos and the different things because we're not looking at normal life. Sometimes we get into normal life so much that we forget about the joys. And sometimes we need to get off the telephone. Seriously? I'm tired of people on the telephone. Especially when you're driving. Seriously? It used to be drunk drivers. No, it's not drunk drivers anymore. They're like swerving and weaving and in and out. There they go. Which way is it going? Okay, let's make a bet. Is it a drunk driver? No, it's not. Are they texting? Where are they going? It's a grandma. Oh no. So what do? One day I'm going down the road and this girl's going side to side. I thought it was a grandma going side to side to side and right towards a big truck. I said, man, I'm just going to lay that horn out. I laid on that horn. That girl about jumped out of her skin. Thank God she'd have been dead though. And I seen the thing the other day where a woman and her kids were in a car and she died with her phone in her hand. That's sad. So we need to start looking around. God wants us to look. God wants us to know what's going on around us. But he says, don't worry. He's going to take care of us. We got to learn to love one another. Everybody's going to have a different viewpoint. We don't need to judge anybody. We need to look at each other and say, okay, that's your right to your opinion. But people are getting to the point they want to kill you for your opinion. That's wrong. It's the reverse prejudice. I mean, I grew up in the 60s. And I was around to watch Martin Luther King. And I was around to see all that stuff. And it was heartbreaking. I know where I lived, it wasn't like that. It didn't matter. I think we had one of the first in New Derry, black and white couple that got married. And they were wonderful people. And I didn't think a big deal of it. I thought it was a wonderful thing. But this prejudice stuff, and there's people not just prejudiced of black people, they're prejudiced of white people now. They're prejudiced of cops. They're prejudiced of ICE. They're prejudiced of the president. They're prejudiced of this. Come on, people. We need to stop. You know, I wish we'd come back with some of the 70s songs where it was anti-war and all about love. Why can't we get back to that? But we threw God out of the schools. We decided that we didn't have no need for him. And we wonder why people are killing one another. But massacres even happened back then. Not as frequent, but they happened back then. If you look at the histories, they happened back then. It's not the guns, it's the people. And the people need to get love. It's time we get back to our first love. And that's Jesus Christ. We should get back to that. You can't go into a Muslim nation and not know who their God is. This was a Christian nation. When we abandoned what we were created for, our nation was stood on the values. Maybe you don't believe in Jesus, but the values. Those are important things. That we help our neighbor. That when we see a little lady that carrying her groceries, we help her carry her groceries. We see our neighbor that needs a helping hand, we go help them. My dad, he'd have done anything for anybody. I remember times when we had no money and he would go get loads. People had wooden coal burners, furnaces in Pennsylvania. So he'd go load up with coal and then sell that coal on his truck to help them heat their homes. And I remember a little old lady that had nothing, had no money. She asked my dad to get her coal. It cost my dad $30 for that load, I remember. And he went to her house and she had no money. But him and I shoveled that coal out of that truck to make sure that little lady had heat. She did make us dinner, and she was very kind. And you know what? That day, we had rewards in heaven. We got more than just helping someone. Store up your treasures in heaven, where moth and rust cannot corrupt. So where's your treasure stored? Spread a little love today. Show that we love one another. Reach out, help somebody, pay it forward. Be kind. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.